Rantz.
Life and motherhood uncensored.
Welcome back to Mama Rantz with Elle
and Ali.
And hey guys, we are joined by Jess again this week. How you doing, Jess?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
I'm doing good. My husband is probably like, man, I have had enough of this child today. I need your help. But he is nicely going to give me a little bit more time. So as always, Jess, since you're our guest, what is your mom win or fail this week?
Oh, I've got a mom fail. So my daughter, she's been, becoming more independent lately. She's 2. So I took her to the playground recently and she was climbing up on one of the ladders, going down the slides, being a 2-year-old. And there was this one slide and it was rather tall and kind of steep. So she wanted to go down it. So I'm like, oh my God, girl, do it. Go down. And like the slide, it wasn't just, like a straight shot down. It had like some turns. And she took the turn a little too hard. And she ended up like turning around completely and like ended up on her back coming down. And she kind of flew off the slide. But she's fine. We all laughed. Great. But it was a little terrifying because I honestly thought she was going to fly off the slide at first, but it was fine.
Thank God.
Well, thank God. Thank God. So my mom fail this week is my son learned how to shut the fridge. Except he never shuts the fridge if no one's around the fridge. Like if you get something out of the fridge and then go to the cabinet, he's not going to shut the fridge. The second you go back to the fridge, he is going to shut the fridge on you. And it's one of those double door fridges. And literally he wants to shut both of them on you. And then he gets mad when it doesn't shut because you're shut in the fridge.
I mean, if
I
you
love
forget,
that.
I guess it's good.
Yeah, right? So my mom fail this week is I'm a huge animal lover, and by that I mean I will never not have a dog in my life. I will always have some type of creature, and I will always be looking to foster something. And so we normally foster dogs, like mommies, like pregnant mommies and puppies, or like a really old dog. But this time we fostered kittens, 2 6-week-old kittens, and that's a first. We've never fostered cats, kittens, anything. But we had a cat previously a couple years ago. But so now we have these kittens. I knew my kid would be ecstatic. She's a huge animal lover like me. And we brought these kittens inside. And when I tell you my kid turned absolutely fucking feral, I swear to God, she was crazier than the motherfucking cat. She was like chasing them around. She was like screaming because she wanted to hold them, and they're like timid, shy. Like these cats were found in like the streets. Okay, they're street cats. Okay, so they are like mortified. They're like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know where or why I'm here. And so she's trying to hold them. She's saying like, "Mommy, hold them, black cat," and I'm like, I can't. Like, they're running away. They don't even want to be held. And so when she finally does get them, like I wrap it up in a towel so she can hold it. And she can't. She's not understanding to hold the whole body. She just wants to hold the freaking neck. And I'm like, we can't do that. We're going to freaking kill him. We're going to kill him. They're not going to be here anymore. But then she wanted to hold the cat, scream bloody murder when the cat wouldn't let her hold it. So yeah, what I thought was going to be a great experience turned into be a complete nightmare. Because she just wants to strangle the cats 24/7, not realizing that's not how you hold a cat. But yeah, so I now have these 2 kittens in my room to save their lives, both like from the shelter, the kill shelter, but also from my toddler. So that's how it's going.
Oh, I have to say, I guess I'd categorize it as a mom win. My son is like best friends with our little French bulldog. But man, they are naughty together. Like they get into so much trouble together that it is like you can never just leave them alone. It's terrible. So Jess, you have 2 kids. that are very close in age, not crazy close in age, but
Close enough.
I feel like everyone around my age is trying to have two close together. And so, Matt and I were thinking like, well, are we one and done or are we going to go for another? I don't know how you feel, Allie.
We definitely want a second one. But I mean, I go back and forth just because my postpartum was really, really rough. And it took me a really long time to get back feeling like me again and have like that drive that I used to have of like, let's get up and go, or I really want to go do something. My motivation has finally like returned where I'm just so spontaneous, and I love that. And I miss that about me. And like the thought of having to restart that is so scary because now I have to, keep myself afloat, but also keep my toddler afloat. And that is just so mentally draining. And I was so sick the entire time. So just postpartum, being sick and it not being the best pregnancy just scares me a lot. But looking at her, I couldn't imagine her not having a sibling because I love my sister. I love my I would say my brother-in-law, my husband's sisters so much. And, I could not picture my life without them. So like, I know I'm just gonna, either way, I know we're gonna have a second. I really just got to figure out when that is and mentally prepare myself, or it's going to be rough, but I have to figure it out to get through it.
Oh yeah.
So basically for anyone considering a second, don't wait too long or else you're going to overthink that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jess, tell us your experience. We're here to pick your brain, but kind of tell us everything about you and your kids and how it is to have two kids close in age, some pros, cons.
Oh, I'll tell you everything. So I had my daughter in April of 2021. Mm-hmm. And then when she was 6 months old, I got pregnant again. We weren't trying, whatever. But it just kind of happened. And honestly, like, I wouldn't change it. I know, like, when I was pregnant, me and my husband were like, oh my God, like having to start all over again. Like, and now we have a baby on top of it. Like, I don't know. Like, it was a lot mentally to prepare for it. But I mean, like.
So there was some stress.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, and just the thought of like, we gave our daughter like all this attention and now it's like, we have to split that between two. And it's like, still a baby. And like, now we're going to bring an infant into it as well. So that was so stressful. But looking back, like I have an older brother he's only 13 months older than me. So you're kind of in the same situation. And like, I liked having a sibling that was close in age. And like, I know they will too. And just, it's funny because like after I had my son, just seeing my daughter, like how she is with him, like they're just so, I don't know, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like she's so like nurturing and she loves him and it's like the cutest thing. And I know even if they had a bigger age gap, like I know she would still be, that nurturing type. But yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, I love it. I love the chaos. And like when my husband, he had to go to work in California for 2 months. So it was just me with the two younger kids. Woo! It was nuts. But I had so much help. Like, oh my God, my in-laws, my parents, my family, they helped out tremendously. My friends, everyone. But if I didn't have that, honestly, I don't know what I would have done. It was crazy.
It takes a village.
It really does.
I mean, having that help is all the difference. And, Allie doesn't get that. So she gets a lot of stress and, it's all on her shoulders.
That's so tough. Yeah.
I think that definitely puts into it too, because we are, a military family and, sure, we're only 3.5 hours from home now, but, in 2 years we could be, and back out, west like we were, however long ago, 6 years ago now. And that's scary. I mean, I'm not the type that like, runs home when it comes time to, for my husband to leave, to deploy, to go TDY or anything. But like with 2 kids, like, I don't even know. I mean, thankfully I do have a village, but it's a village from afar. So I can't, hey, mom, can you pop over for like 2 hours? It's like, hey, I need you to plan to take off work or plan to do work from my house or, you know, with Brent's mom. And so it's a lot different. And I don't want to uproot, you know, my kid. She's so used to being here. So it's nice that I have family that can do that. But still, it's like, that adds to it. You know, we're not going to be just a quick drive. We could potentially be a whole freaking plane ride, and that's
a lot more planning.
So Jess, you're a working mom too, so that kind of adds to it. I know your kids, you do have a lot of help, so your kids don't have to go to daycare. That's funny. None of our we're very fortunate that none of our kids are in daycare. I say fortunate, but then I wonder, like, is my kid going to be antisocial or just not learn as much because I'm not home? But you know, whatever. How do you do it? Like, is there more stress now that you have two because you work, like, with your time? Because I always think, like, I don't have time now for anything. Is it going to feel like I have even less time, or is it just kind of the same?
Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Time out.
For the listeners, Jess just had to go grab her kids from a car while sleeping and put them into their cribs. And I watched this transition and I looked at Ali and I said, holy shit, is this the smoothest transition I have ever seen? And both of us were talking about how, man, our kids would never. Like, how do you do this voodoo that you do?
My kid doesn't even sleep in the fucking car, let alone be able to be moved after asleep. Like,
my kids love sleep. Love it. But I mean, sometimes it might be difficult for them.
Do you want to birth my next child so that it loves sleep?
But I mean, just because they're sleeping now, it's what, 9:30? My son will be up between 6 and 7.
You know what I'm beginning to wonder? Is it because you're silky mom material and so laid back, and that's why your kids are laid back?
Sure. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just, I guess, fortunate. Like,
or it's genetic.
It's genetic.
Chill and like relaxed where I'm not.
It's genetic. Yeah.
What happened?
I said, or it's genetic.
Yeah. It's not me.
Well, technically it is you. Like,
that's true.
It's your guys' genes.
True.
Me and Matt just have shitty genes. We have explosive genes that never want to sleep, that are night owls and don't like the mornings either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you guys like sleep till like 1.
Oh no.
I'm surprised B-Man doesn't.
Yeah, we only I used to sleep till like 11.
Oh.
And now I'm lucky. I'm normally up by 7 because B-Man is wrestling around, but he doesn't fully get up till 9, and I will fully sit in my bed and just go back to sleep back and forth until then. But yeah, that was some insane stuff.
Yeah.
We just, give them a little chloroform and they're fine.
Yeah.
Gave them that tart cherry juice.
Yeah.
That's the crunchy. That's the crunchy mom in me.
I'm like, the silky mom is the chloroform.
Here, no,
the crunchy mom is the tart cherry juice.
Have you tried that, by the way?
I haven't, but I'm going to.
Oh yeah, you should let me know.
So
I thankfully don't need to, but I'm always wondering. I'm always like wondering if it's like for real or not.
Oh, okay. I think Jess thought you were asking about the chloroform. I couldn't hear you, and you said something, and I was like,
the tart cherry juice, is that supposed to put him to sleep?
Yeah, so apparently tart cherry juice has natural melatonin in it, but it also kickstarts the body into producing melatonin or some crap like that. Don't quote me on that. I just know the tart cherry. Hold on. Before I
should try it for myself.
I know.
Actually, I have issues. I really have issues falling asleep.
So we're going to do it. We're going to do it for Matt, because Matt has a really hard time sleeping. So here we go. Tart cherry juice its effect on sleep is due to the tryptophan and melatonin within it. So tryptophan helps the body produce melatonin, and obviously melatonin helps regulate your sleep. So I was actually correct. I wasn't talking out of my ass.
No.
So, but they said it has to be tart. It can't be cherry juice. Like, it's got to be tart cherry juice. Why, I don't know, but I am totally going to try this.
You know how much that shit is at the store?
Probably as much as the organic prune juice that I buy my son.
It's so stupid. It's so expensive.
$10 a bottle.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. And it's like, it's literally like this freaking big. It's so dumb, which is why I haven't gotten it, because I haven't gotten it. Yeah, I just have not.
Because if it doesn't work, then what a waste.
Right. And then I spent, like $10. But then I'm like, even then, if it works, am I willing to spend $10 for this freaking thing? Am I really, like, how much do you need? How much do you need?
It's true. At least with the prune juice, I justify it because I'm like, well, he doesn't need it a lot. And we water it down and it helps keep him regular. So the whole bottle will last me like a month.
Yeah. Do you know how much of the cherry juice you're supposed to take? Is it like a quick shot? Is it like 8 ounces? Because 8 ounces, that's not happening. That's the entire bottle.
Can you water it down?
So it says that an 8-ounce cup of the tart cherry juice, it only has 0.13 micrograms of melatonin. So it's literally just a fraction. So if the 5 milligrams of fake melatonin my husband is taking doesn't work for him, the cherry juice probably won't. But it might work for my son that does not take any melatonin.
An 8-ounce glass for your child. Yeah, right. There's no way.
No. They say for a child, just like a little bit is supposed to help. I don't know. It's probably bullshit. So we were talking about working and how you are a working mom. And I was wondering, for me, when I'm working and I'm getting home, I feel like I have no time, especially intentional time, because I work, I get home, I'm trying to clean, I'm trying to get dinner ready, I'm trying to play with my child, trying to do it all. And a lot of times I'm just exhausted. And I worry that will a second child make it feel like I have even less? Or is it kind of just like, no, it's just you adapt?
Honestly, like, you just have to adapt. Well, luckily for us too, like, so I work in the morning till like around 4-ish, and then my husband goes to work at 4. So it's like we have to work the opposite schedules, which, I mean, it's very tiring. So like you work a full day and then you come home and then it's just you to like, okay, feed the kids dinner, get them ready for bed. By the time, they are down for sleep for the night, you're exhausted. But luckily too, like we do have that great support system where, like it's mostly his dad or like my parents, his mom, whatever, that'll watch the kids in between. Like, we're both going to work. Coming home from work. He's going to work. So, I mean, they'll stay a little longer just to kind of help out and everything. But I feel like what also did help a lot was when my husband was gone for those 2 months, and it was, it was mostly me too, where like I had to be the one to like cook and clean every single night. So I feel like when he came home, I was kind of still in that routine. I mean, and there are days where I'm just like, I can't, I'm so tired, and thank God he's there to help out. But I mean, it all comes down to that support system that I do have, because if I didn't have that, then I'd be like a walking zombie. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything. But when it comes to like, when we want to do something as a family too, trying to get 2 kids ready is like, we need to start getting ready like an hour before like we even want to go anywhere. And like trying to like get out the door with them, it's like nearly impossible. Like making sure you have everything for not just one, but for both of them. And then even like, I know it's important to have time for yourself, but like trying to split your time between 2 kids, like when you're by yourself too in the afternoon, like I want to spend time with my daughter. She's like on a whole nother level, but like I also don't want to ignore my son, and like vice versa. that is like, it could be a little overwhelming.
That's hard.
It's hard, but I mean, we do it. I'm like, I know I try to do some activities that they both can do without trying to bore my daughter because, like she's 2. She wants to do other stuff than with baby toys. I don't know. So
I'm worried about that, like, especially because if I have a second, it'll be a little bit more of an age gap. And it's like, well, crap, like they're going to be so far apart in age, not very far, but far enough that one, I'm going to be worried to give my older one toys that maybe the younger one can choke on, or, you had said earlier how it's very difficult splitting attention. And that is totally something that I sit and think about. I don't know if Ali does, but it's like, man, I love being with my son. I love this one-on-one time. And I find that at least in my mom groups, a lot of people have the same thing where it's like, crap, like, do I really want to split my attention, or how am I going to split my attention, or how am I going to feel a ton more mom guilt because I'm not, able to adequately give each child enough attention?
No, you will. Like it's tough. Like even when it comes time to like put them down for bed, like sometimes like I'll have to put my daughter like in her room and she'll cry, but I also like my son is sleeping in my arms. And so it's like, or even if he's awake, like one of them needs to go to bed. So like sometimes I'll either have to let her cry it out while I put my son to sleep, or I mean, my son or my daughter has her queen size bed. So like the 3 of us will like sit in bed. I'll wait till, if he's asleep and she's still awake, like I have to leave her, put him in his crib and then she freaks out, like if she's wide awake. But like that is pretty tough. When I went to the park with my kids, my daughter wants to go on everything and like run around while my son, like he's not walking yet. So I have to like follow her around while carrying him, and trying to carry that kid is nearly impossible. Cause he like, when you have a baby, they'll like kind of wrap their legs around you. He's like, he straightens his legs. I'm like, buddy, work with me here.
He's like, I don't want to be in your arms, Mom.
He wants to move and walk. Like he'll walk along the furniture, but like not on his own yet. So when she's at the playground, like I have to pick him up, and I can't carry the kid. It's hard.
Yeah. And I feel like, Elle, like, do you feel like your worry with time is because you feel like you're at work so much and then you're, busy doing those things where you already feel like you don't have enough time with B-Man, and then you feel like adding number 2 to that is just going to elevate that like stressor? Because like I say, I'm wondering that as far as like you, and I'm thinking about like me, am I worried about time? And like, I'm home all day with her, and I would be home all day with the second. So I'm like, time to me is like, minute versus like the individual attention is what I would be worried about, trying to stay on her level, but then also tend to a newborn. Like that's where I'm like, woo, where the fuck is that going to come from? Where can I be here and then there? And yeah, with time, I feel like is your number one, like, and then also trying to juggle that.
Yeah. Time in general for me is my biggest issue. I hate, as it is, I am gone for work 50 hours a week, on average, and being gone away that much. I have always been a very headstrong, driven individual. And I mean, I landed my dream job. I wanted to be here. I love my job, but I never imagined that I would ever want to be a stay-at-home mom. And man, do I wish I could, or do I wish I could work, part-time. I think that would be the best for me, is like being able to work part-time and being able to be home. So for me, it is time. It is time that I feel like, as it is now, when I get home from work, sometimes I feel like I barely have enough intentional time with my son. I get home, I get to see him, but he wants to play. So we're trying to play, but my son's play right now consists of him like journeying around. So he's constantly, running around and checking things out. And I'm watching him, and I'm trying to relax and watch him and trying to catch up with my mom. I get like an hour with him and then I'm having to think about dinner. So say on average, I get home at 4, I get my stuff in, go to the bathroom, get to my son. By that time, it's about 4:20. We get about a good hour together where he's just off playing. And I'm trying to play with him and be with him, but I'm also, washing the pool table out, or not pool table, but water table out, and trying to get him set up to play.
Yep.
He gets set up to play. You try to enjoy yourself. Then my husband walks in. We're all trying to get dinner done. We're getting B-Man in his high chair to get him started before everybody because he takes so long. By the time he's done with dinner, it's bath. And by that time, it's 7:30 at night. And then we're doing dishes and we're picking up and we're both doing it. Like Matt is a great help and we all chip in and we all do it. But the house is never as clean as you want it. You do basically the bare minimum to get by. I mean, we have laundry is the worst. I did a load of laundry. It sat in the dryer for 2 days. I literally had it half out because I was out of clothes. So I had to get clothes from there to work for 2 days. So literally every morning I'm like picking stuff out. Half of it's in the basket, half of it's still in the dryer. Finally, this morning before work, I start to drape it over the back of the couch. It's still not folded. It's like, and then it's going to get folded, but it's not going to get put away for at least another 3 to 4 days, maybe even a week. Let's be serious here. And by that time,
7 to 10 business days.
I got to do B-Man's laundry. So anyways, by the time you're done with dishes and putting the food away, literally Matt and I sit down and it's 8:30. And it's almost like, thank God my child doesn't go to bed till 9:30 because we get that extra hour with him to sit and play and do that intentional time. So sorry for that long-winded explanation, but yeah, I'm totally nervous about bringing a second kid and then not having that time with B-Man, or having that time with B-Man but neglecting the kid. And I often think, well, if I was home, I wouldn't feel this way. But who knows if that's really true?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times too, when I'm playing with my daughter, like I feel like I'm neglecting my son, but it's like, you also have to remember, like, I was, just playing with him 5 seconds ago. So it's like, you have to like think like, I'm not neglecting him. I'm just, paying attention to her right now, but then give me like a minute and then I'll, kind of just switch back and forth.
And I think to myself, we all have siblings and we all loved it. And we don't look back and think, oh, my parents didn't give me too much attention. I try to remind myself, like, don't worry about this so much. But
no, yeah, you'll be fine.
What do you think's the most difficult thing about having 2 children now as opposed to 1?
Well, right now, since my son is, just going everywhere, it's just trying to keep them both contained so they're not like, my daughter also can open up doors. So it's like
trying to not have her open a door and him to fall downstairs.
Yeah. Well, like, my daughter, we have our living room gated off just because like if one of us are home and like, the other one's working, like, and if I just have to like run to the bathroom or try to get dinner ready, something like that, we put them in the living room. I could see my living room from my kitchen. But like, sometimes like I'll let my daughter, like, she'll come and help me cook or whatever. And like the gate from our living room will be open. And, now my son, like, he crawls everywhere, and just trying to keep these kids both contained while I'm trying to get stuff done around the house. Cause with my son just moving everywhere now, and like, he's climbing up on everything, and it's difficult sometimes to try to keep track of both when, you're also trying to get stuff done around the house. But I mean, I'm not neglecting them. But yeah, I don't know.
What's the best thing
about the 2 kids? I would say, I just love having them so close in age together. They're just, I'm very thankful. Like, I have 2 such good kids. Like, they are so easygoing, so great. I mean, they make me want to have a third, but I know if I were to have a third, that kid would probably be the total opposite.
Yeah,
They're setting me up for
want to have
failure.
your kids too.
Yeah. No, they're setting me up for failure, honestly. No, but they're great. They're like, it's you're going to have a second kid and then they're going to be completely opposite.
Yeah, I feel like that's what you hear. Yeah, I feel like that's what you hear. You have like the good one, and then you have like the exorcist child, or you have two great ones, and then you do the third. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so great, and then the third one's fucking crazy. Yeah, but like,
and then everyone says this, and I'm like, what about my first that didn't sleep and was colicking, and like, am I just in for a shit storm?
Yeah, like why would I think?
Yeah, it has to be the other way.
I hope so.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I mean, there's just no way that this one can also be like exorcist child. There's just not. There's really not.
Yeah.
And we don't think you're exorcist child, B-man, but your tantrums are like, you will change the world one day. He's got my husband's hard-headedness and my stubbornness, and
he'll go far with that
attitude. Yeah.
He won't take no shit. So that's great. That's a great way to go into this fucking crazy world. So
God help this world with my child. But you wouldn't have it any other way, right?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Honestly, I love it. Like, they're just such good kids. I love them so much, obviously, but I only love one, not the other. No, I'm just kidding. No,
God, you hear people. No. Did you hear about this mom on like, she's on one of the social media pages, I guess, and she has daughters and sons, and she claims on social media, I don't know if she does this for likes or what, but she claims that she only likes her sons. And that it's fine that she only loves her sons. And I'm like, what in the is wrong with you?
What? No, that's not okay. Because then I feel like that's going to totally screw up the daughters. Like, oh yeah, my mom doesn't love me, so.
Are you kidding me? Like, crazy side note right there.
Yeah, no thank you. With having two kids, it's going to be crazy at first, just because you're in a whole completely new routine. You're pretty much, you're starting over. It's going to be nuts. Like I just said 2 seconds ago.
Hey, you're saying nuts twice? Well, that's because it's going to be doubly nuts.
It's going to be
But you said you love the chaos.
Yes. And you could say any form of sleep that you had before, just kiss it goodbye. You have no sleep. You're going to be walking zombie because, I mean,
this makes me want to have a second one so bad.
Elle's getting pregnant tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. I'm totally. Sign me up.
Yes. Well, no, you would sleep. Well, I mean, but you have to be prepared.
Yes. No, I'm just screwing with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank God my daughter. Yeah. My daughter, I mean, she would sleep like from 9 to 9, 12 hours. Sometimes I've had 13, 14-hour nights. So thank God she slept that long because my husband and I, he would be up with our son, as a newborn he'd be up with him all night until about 4:00. And then I would take over from 4:00 on. So we kind of had a system. So, I mean, as long as you have that.
Tag team it. Yeah.
Yeah. We had to tag team it. And then.
I don't have that. My husband is feral, in the words of Ali, at night. Like I cannot depend on him at night. I love my husband. He's great in a million other ways. Helping out during the night is not one of them.
Yeah. I feel like with
he can take the day shift
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be something set in place because like, okay, yes, now I'm up with my son at 4 a.m, but then, okay, my daughter's going to wake up in 5 hours. I still have to be up for her, get her ready while my husband at least sleeps. Just so we're both somewhat functional throughout the day. But other than that, it's so great.
That's so great.
No, it really is. Like both his personality's coming out a lot more, and it's just they're so funny. And again, like I said before, I wouldn't change it. And like I know they're gonna grow up. Hopefully, they'll be close.
Yeah,
yeah. But as of right now, like they are, and it's so cute seeing them grow together. I wouldn't change it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Is it?
I love that they're opposite genders too. I do.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's like Brent's little sisters. Like they are. I mean, they're both obviously sisters. They're both girls, and they're so close. And one of them loves affection. The other one is like, fuck off. Like, don't touch me. But only with her. Only with her. Like, you can hug her. Like, anybody else can hug her. But, oh my God, when it comes to freaking the one sister who loves being touched, to touch her, it's like, she's like, her leg. It's just like, this such a theatrical performance. And I'm like, and then it just is.
Do you know how many talks I've had with them? I'm like, you're supposed to have your sister's back. You're supposed to be best friends. You're supposed, and I'm pretty sure they look at me like, you crazy, Aunt Elle.
I'm sure once they get older, they'll become close.
I hope so.
Oh yeah. I mean, they definitely take care of each other, but just don't just not when it comes to like hanging on the one who doesn't want to be touched when it comes to her. But like I said, anybody else can hug her. But I mean, it is very comical to watch. Thankfully, the one who doesn't want to be touched is the one that's more serious, and the one who does is the all touchy-feely sister. It she doesn't take it to heart, and so that's what I mean. That's why it's so funny. But at the same time, it's like it's just hilarious. But being in that position, I don't even know. I just would lose my fucking mind. But it's nice that you have opposite genders, and hopefully you won't have too much of the bickering.
I know
when it gets to that point.
I know. It's
How are your pregnancies? Were they different? Like your deliveries, really, and your pregnancies, were they kind of the same, or
they were a little different. So like with my daughter, when I was pregnant with her, I would wake up a lot in the middle of the night, throw up. It was obnoxious. And then with my son, I just felt more like just pain all over, like muscle pain.
Interesting.
And it was weird. It's weird. It's not weird, but it's funny. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I craved chocolate donuts. Like I could have eaten them like every day. And it's funny because she loves like those little donut holes. And that's all she wants is the chocolate glaze. And like she cried the one day because she didn't eat it, or she ate them all and there wasn't any left. But with my son, like didn't really crave anything. But yeah. And then
were the deliveries a lot different or no?
So with my daughter, my water actually broke 2 weeks before she was due. And then I was in, so from the time my water broke till the time I had her, it was like 26 hours. But when I was in active labor, it was only for like 27 minutes, which was pretty pretty fast.
Nice.
But then with my son, I actually had to be induced. I was induced a week before his due date. And with him, I went in, it was like 3:00, and then I didn't have him till like 11 a.m. the next day. But it only took 3 pushes, and I got him out in 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. I had epidurals for both because I needed the drugs. couldn't do the pain. It was awful.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm like, I need it. But yeah, I had to be induced with my son because I had the diabetes, gestational diabetes. I had it for both. I had it for both, but my daughter, like my water broke with her. So it's like I didn't have to be induced. But for my sons, it was a lot worse, the diabetes. I actually had to give myself insulin shots every day.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. But I mean, other than that, like they were pretty much the same. Just, awful heartburn. And then, the puking with my daughter, that was the worst.
So you think you might go for a third?
Yeah. So anyway, I want a third. I feel like I definitely want a third. Thank God though, the deliveries for both my kids were pretty easy. Thank God, like knock on wood, like nothing happens if I were to have a third, but it was just your normal, uneventful delivery.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, definitely want a third. And then that would be the time I have twins or something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah, like, oh shit.
Yeah, I stop at 2 no matter what. I'm capping it. That's it.
No. Yeah, because then after that you're outnumbered, and then what?
Yeah. And I appreciate the gap though. Like we always said, we wanted like at least a 3-year gap, and now that she's 2, and then that 3-year gap is like closely approaching. I don't want to have kids back to back. That was never my plan. I don't know, maybe it's because I was around my sister-in-laws for so long, and I'm like, fuck no. And and then I just, me and my sister, we have like a 7-year gap, and I appreciate the hell out of that. And I always said I wanted to be done by 30. And so that gives us enough time for one more and then capping it. So
nice. I think age is going to be my biggest factor in fertility.
I feel that.
So, I would love to have a second child. I just don't know if it's in the cards for us both, responsibly and also God willing. But I will not have more than 2 because I don't think either of us would be able to fertility wise by that time. So my geriatric ass is gonna be capped too. And it's sad because Matt and I both wanted big families. We really both wanted big families, but it just wasn't in the cards for us. So
your children will have that's when you have a big family. Your children are gonna have 75 kids each, and there's your big family. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully they find a job that they love that they can afford those 75 kids.
Listen, they're going to be millionaires. One of them's going to be the president. Listen, there's a chance. Like, no.
Not that my kids can totally be the president. I just don't want them in the political landscape that I'm seeing right now.
No.
But they can do whatever
change
they put their minds to. That's true.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. I used to actually say that to my friend that I was worried to have a kid in this world. And she said the same thing. Well, instead of thinking about how the world could affect your child, why don't you think about how your child could affect the world? And I felt that, man.
Yeah.
I take that with me every day. And then he has a tantrum and I'm like, oh, how could he affect this world? But he's also super kind and sweet, and thank God for that. He's amazing with that. But well, thank you so much for being with us today, Jess. We appreciate you having us. We appreciate having you back with us and you kind of talking to us about having 2 kids so close in age and letting us pick your brain.
Yes, absolutely. And having either confirm or deny our fears or suppressing them a little bit. And making us realize that it's just real life, and definitely bringing that stuff to the table and just, sharing that and helping others, us realize that like you can fucking do it. At the end of the day, you can do it. It's just, getting there and you'll figure it out at the end of the day. And that's what's important.
Yes,
it's true. When people tell you that you figure it out, you'll figure it out.
You figure it the fuck out.
You will. Yep. You have to. You have no choice.
Yep. Can't wait to have Jess back with us. She's going to be back with us for our dish and drinks episode where we kind of, so we get some mom time with some cocktails and to talk about some controversial topics.
Yeah, we're going to hit you with that DD time. So grab yourself a drink, listen to it late at night, hang out with us.
Can't wait to double D.
Yeah, double D with us,
So if you like what you're listening to, please subscribe and like on your favorite podcast app.
Bye.
Hey, fellow ranters, it is Elle here. Ali and I are off next week, but we will be back with the next episode of Mama Rantz the week of June 12th. See you then.